Okay, maybe she's not there. Dr. Rashid Ayubusi, you have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah khairan for well done. Yeah, basically I have two questions. One has to do with an unbalanced data or imbalanced data. If one want to balance such a data, is it the existing data on Excel that the data be balanced or on the weaker environment?
Okay.
That is one. Then the second question, when we have an existing study that we want to improve on, I don't know, is it a paper or a draft that have been submitted yet to be published? Can we contemplate improving on such a study? Actually, we've submitted it, but we are still waiting for it to be published. While we are waiting, can we not think of improving on it, coming up with another draft or another model to improve on such a study?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So for that question, the first question, which is related to data imbalance. Yeah, when you have data imbalance, like we always say, always let us remember, let the data speak. So no matter how imbalanced the data is, let us first of all run the original data set. Data imbalance means a situation whereby you have, maybe you are modeling a dispute resolution. So there's going to be a dispute or not between couples, yes or no. So yes or no. The class no, because majority usually are supposed to be no. In the ID community, there should not always be dispute, you see? Or just like medical, we cannot relate with medical. So we may have people who are not yet married, they may not understand the dynamic of marriage. So let me use the one that everybody can relate with. Okay, let's use the issue of medical. You want to know if somebody is diabetes or not? Yes or no? Yes means is diabetic, while the other one say no. Now, in real life, we expect few number of yes. In the normal community, the number of people who are sick should not be more than those that are healthy. Otherwise, that is a disastrous community. Okay? So let's say we have yes to be like 15 samples and no, like maybe 1,500 no. This is called imbalanced data. The number of yes is not close to. We should have something relatively close to, even if it's not equal to. For example, if I have like 250 here and then 350 here, that's not a problem. It's fine. I can do my model. We don't call that, it's imbalance, but we don't call it a serious imbalance. But when you have 15 against 1,000, that is seriously imbalanced. You see, if I have like 250 against 3,000, that is also imbalance, serious one that we cannot ignore. See, we want something like 250 against 300. That is good. This is a good one. 250 against 270. That is a good one. We can ignore the balancing issue. But for this, we cannot ignore it. So we have three ways of dealing with it. One, you run the original data set. Run this original model, 250 against 3,000. Get the result. Put it down there. It has its own challenges when the data is imbalanced. Because one class, this negative class, is more common. It may dominate. So people who are sick, you may be classifying them as not sick. That's one of the problems of imbalanced data. But run the original data set first. The second option, that is first option, run the original data. Original data should be run. Should be used for the modeling. Two, do what I call undersampling. 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 That is, you reduce 3,000 to 250. So you now have 250, yes, and 250, no. This is balanced. This is the one people prefer. I personally prefer this. If your data is up to this 250, 250 is enough for a new modeling. Even 150 is still okay. You can reduce the other one to 150. Even 100 yes, even 50 yes, 50 no, it's still fine. When you still have sizable number of data sets. So 250, 250. So you run the experiment, this is balanced. We prefer this option because you are not using fake data. Because this is a data set that you've got already. 250, you just remove the excess from this. And for the second question, or question that is connected with it, you can do it within Weka or outside Weka. The two are allowed. For example, now, if I'm doing it in Excel file, you can see in the Weka environment, you can do it also in Weka environment. You can also do it outside it. In my Excel file, I just go there. Randomly, I can delete 2,750 from this data. That will leave me with having 250 no, 250 yes. That is fine. And if you can also do it in the Weka environment. Your Python environment can do it for you. That is fine. You either outside or inside, you can do it. The third option for handling imbalanced data is oversampling. Oversampling. In the oversampling, we try to increase this 250 to become 3,000 or something close to it, or 299, just close by, so that the gap will be lower. See? In that case, you can also do it inside or outside the Weka environment. We have an option we call smooth. If you are using smooth, then you have to do it inside the Weka. Smooth has a way of repeatedly, we're using some algorithmic guide to repeat those data sets to make this one to meet up. But the fact is, we are repeating data. It's like more of a little fake data because some data has been repeated just to make up the number. But that is fine. However, there's a very popular mistake, which was one of the issues also that we handled in the book Let the Data Speak. A very common mistake usually is when people get the data, they do oversampling before they divide the data. So they are going to be having this 250 increased to 3,000. So we have 3,000 again 3,000. Now they divide into two. 70% training, 30% testing. That is wrong. That is very wrong. You should divide the data first before you do this smooth. When you are doing oversampling, that's what I'm saying. When you're doing oversampling, because you want to create a kind of fake data in quotes, because you want to repeat some data deliberately. So you first divide your data into two. Training set, 70%, and 30% for testing. So you are going to have, like, when you have 70%, you use stratified sampling approach. This 250, lesser number of 250 will be here. You know that. 70% of 250 will be here. 70% of 3,000 will be here. Here also, you are going to have 70% of 250, 30% of 250, and 30% of 3,000. You keep this one unchanged. Your testing set will be imbalanced. That is okay. And that is normal thing in the real world. The only thing you are going to increase you are going to treat the undersample, the imbalance in the training set only. Let's pay attention to this. So the training set 70%, I will increase that small 70% of 250, which is very small. 70% of 250 is going to be in the range of maybe 200 or thereabout. So you will increase it to meet up with the 70% so that it will be the same value, the same number for the training set. However, for testing set, don't touch it. Leave it like that. Your testing set will be in balance. That is okay. Because the live data you are going to use your model on in real life is not balanced. If 20 patients come to the clinic, maybe only 2 people will have diabetes and only, maybe 8 of them will not be sick. That's normal. So we want to test our model similar to the way they are going to be used in the real life. So I want us to take note of this. And either of these, you can do them either within Weka or outside Weka. I hope that clarifies the question of Dr. Hashim. Second question is, when you carry out, like I mentioned in that particular idea, yes, I mentioned it here, if you remember, that once, irrespective of your area, so you think about, once you get a problem, you solve it, you get an output, then you move on, see how can I improve upon it. Yes. For the researcher, they want to get the work out for people to know what they are doing, which is fine. And they may also need it for their promotion. And also to let people benefit and know that you can do this thing. A lot of people will get motivated by your paper. That's what I've noticed. We got a lot of emails from people from different parts of the world. Oh, we read this paper, very interesting. Can you share your data with us? If the data is not confidential from the client who supply the data, you should be more than happy to share your data. Put it in an online repository, let others use it. So after you finish doing that, it's always good to communicate your report out. Even if you are not in academic, send it out, publish it in a conference. Gone are the day that it's only academic that is publishing. No, we have R&D now, research and development section of every company. NNPC, Saudi Aramco, and so many big companies, fintechs, they have research department. They're always working to compete to make sure they are ahead of their competitors. So they also publish. To publish in a conference paper or send it to a journal. See, it's always good if you can quickly publish an early version of it in the conference. It's faster, 6 pages paper, and easier. Then the full paper can go to a journal. That is fine. The same paper. The early part is going to conference, the early quick result, while the main one, complete literature review, everything completed, go to a journal. So if your conference paper gets through, you can cite it in the new improvement you want to do. It's always good that what you have done is already published before you start the improvement. You can start working on the improvement already, but it's good to cite the paper. It's very, very good. You see, it's very, very good that you cite the paper, your earlier work. This is what we did earlier. And this is a continuation of that work. You see? Or you cite the paper. And you can also take it like, okay, what if I'm not even aware somebody is working on it? You can also do that. That is, after working on a particular data set, you send it to publication, it's under review. But in that data set, you do not investigate the effect of feature selection. You can start doing your work, investigating the effect of feature selection on the prediction of election violence in so state. Meanwhile, the first paper you submitted for review is on the same election violence, but you didn't use feature selection. You just did the normal routine, do the hyperparameter optimization, and you are getting something very nice and interesting. And you want the world to quickly know. Send it out. And the best place to let the world quickly know is conference. Like I said, early paper quickly, while the other one is sent to journal. So if they are taking time, investigating the effect of feature selection on the same data set, it is fine. You can go ahead and do it. And if they are taking too much time there, you can go ahead and still submit it. Yes, it's a different work. It's a totally different work you are doing. See, you are only improving upon that, but this is what we get. But the only issue is you may not be able to now cite a paper that you are improving upon because the paper is not yet out there. You see? But then you treat it as if it is just a new paper, though you compare the work, the work with the previous one you have done. Some people allow you to actually cite it in bracket code unpublished or under review. You mention it. This is an improvement upon a paper we submitted earlier, which is currently under review. And that's why some journal now, they create a quick publication. They put it on a particular site. It's not yet published, but they call it a preprint. Preprint. Some journals, they have it there. You can cite it there. They want people to know that you have done this work. It's under review for our journal, but not yet accepted. They call it preprint. You can make a citation of it as a preprint. So this is what I can say in this respect. But if it is published already, that is fine. But if it is not published and it's a totally new concept, we're investigating feature selection, we want to use ensemble method, that is fine. And you compare your work with what you get earlier, and you can also reference it in your writing. Our earlier work achieved this under review. You cite under review. That is still okay. Thank you very much. Hope that clarifies. Now, next questioner there is Mr. Long. Am I right? Mr. Long Lano. Moidin.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome.
I'm part of the new guys to this concept, but I'm trying to. So I have like 3 or 4 questions to clarify.
Okay.
So the first one is during the summer
Okay.
boot camp,
Okay.
there was a Word document, machine that you used to uh, take us through machine learning for research purpose.
Okay. Research
But
writing.
on getting we get a PDF file of that instead of the Word document, instead of the document. So
Okay.
with the
Okay.
document, it will be easier.
Yeah, that's fine. Noted. So noted. Right.
If
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It will
So
be.
the question about the what I am doing now is an emission CO2 emission prediction data set. But the data I got is from a friend, an experimental data from a friend, and doing uh, with some of the regression tool on Weka, I am already getting 0.9988. But discussing with a friend, he told me that, but the data point was just 33 data points. Well, discussing with a friend on the same work, he told me probably if I can make the data point 100 or more, but there's no way to manufacture experimental data. Can I go on with the work, or I should go on with the data I have on Kaggle? But the data I have on Kaggle is a lot complicated. I couldn't, as a beginner, I didn't understand a lot of things in that.
Noted. Yeah.
So that is for the 3 data set. And closely to that, there was an senior colleague in my place or in my phase of work. He asked me if Weka can do features importance. But I told him I will I'll ask that question in our
Feature
class.
importance, eh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If Weka can do
Okay.
features importance, how can we do?
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much for the questions. Number one, regarding the document for guide research writing guide. So yeah, we had to use the PDF because of to be able to show it better and a clearer form during the presentation during the summer camp. So that they just bundle the entire material to the system. So they will share the Word document in the platform, okay? So somebody there who has a copy, we shared it earlier also in the WhatsApp group. So definitely I ask them to share it again so that we can just take it from there. You start writing your work. Thank you very much for letting us know that was the PDF version we had. 2, the emission data set you have. Yeah, that's a very interesting work. See, my advice is continue with your work. See, we like to have more data set, but this is what you cannot just create data set in a jiffy. So you do with what you have. And I want to give you a good news that we've had 16 data points before, and we model and got excellent results. 16 data points. 16, not 32 like you. So yeah. So if the data is small, you can use cross-validation, like 5-fold cross-validation or 3-fold cross-validation. It doesn't have to be 10 because the data is not much. If you divide 32 into 10, that's going to be 3 in one portion. That's too small. So make it like 3-fold cross-validation. So we divide into 3. That'll be like you have like 10 in one portion. This is how you handle such a small data set. It may not be enough for, even you can still use partition, but it may not be enough for partitioning to testing, training and testing. You can check it out. However, when data set is few, then you use cross-validation, like 3-fold cross-validation. Some people even use 2-fold. If it's really very small, like 16 samples. So, but when you like 30 something, I think it's very much sizable. Go ahead with your experiment, see what you can do, and you're already getting good result. What you need to do is to visualize what you are getting, export the actual prediction to Excel file, and see how your testing set is matching the predicted value. The original one, how close are they together? You know, when you have a plot of what you are having, maybe you have a plot like this, make it very nice to know how far you are going. So something like this. So this is the actual value. This is now your prediction. The prediction is going closer. It's touching this 100%. It's close to the. To have that plot, you can really visualize. You can also put it side by side. In Weka, I already demonstrated in Weka how to show the actual values that have been predicted. You have the actual value here, and you have the predicted value. This one was 3.6. This one, the predicted is 3.67. Very close by. This one is 3.77. And the prediction is 3.56. So you'll be able to see, is my work really doing fine? So irrespective of your data sample, if you are doing well, because you are telling me now, if I'm not mistaken, you're already getting 0.98. 0.98 in correlation coefficient. That is huge. So let us see how close you can relate with it. And then that is fine. You can move ahead. Don't abandon the data set. Go ahead. You are getting a good result. Then as it move forward, then if you need more clarification, then you can then contact so that we can make sure that you are doing it really in the right way. But that's a very good one from one of our members who just joined and is already making efforts to practice. Thank you very much for that. This is why we are saying, let us practice what we are learning or what we've learned. The last question from Mr. Olorunlana is feature importance in Weka. Yes, we demonstrated also there. Then we call it feature attribute. We call it feature attribute. You will see it in Weka. And that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe it's the 6th position from left. You see feature attributes. And there are different type of feature attributes you can have. We call it feature attributes. You see it there in Weka. You can easily make use of it. And I think we already tweeted something in that direction. Feature attributes. Yeah. In our archive, you can search our video archive in YouTube. Hopefully you see explanation of how we can do feature selection in Weka. Yes, it is very much possible and easy to do. And you can select different type of attribute selection you want. The simple one is the ranker. You rank it according to correlation coefficient, the relation between the input and the output, and then you select the topmost one. And then you keep running the experiment. You can do the one we call recursive feature elimination. If you have like 20 features, so you run the old feature, 20, record the results, then divide it to 2, run the ranker, rank it, the one with the highest value of correlation to the target, arrange them as in descending order. Divide 20 by 2, that is 10. Select the best 10, run it for 10. Divide 10 to 2, again, run for best 5. Divide 5 by 2, that will be 2.5. You don't have you need to have a number, approximate 3. Run best 3. Run best 2. Run best 1 until you have the 1. You keep reducing the number of features one by half until you get to the only one feature. Yes. Somebody say, can we use one feature for prediction? Yes. We had a paper in the Q1 or Q2 journal where we had only one feature under soil contamination investigation in the Red Sea area. So it's a possibility. You can have only one feature doing wonder for you. Depending on the problem you are modeling. 20 features may not work. Only one may be doing working. And that is in line with what we call let the data speak. Thank you very much. I think the last question now, if I'm not mistaken, if you're still there, Mr. Zainab Adamu, are you still there now? We call you first, but you are not available. If you are there, you can ask your question. Otherwise, we move to Mr. Musa Waliu. Are they still there?
I think Zainab complained about her what do you call it? Her microphone. She couldn't unmute herself.
Okay. She should be able to unmute. We allow everybody to unmute. She can type her stuff there. You can type her question. I believe everybody can unmute. Mr. Waliu, are you there? Okay, we are seeing a lot of people in. Okay, it seems those questioners, they are no more there. I believe that's a good one for the day. So we'll listen to maybe a few announcements from our coordinator. Thank you very much. Okay, I can see Zainab Adam. I can't unmute my end. Can you unmute me, please? What is a moment, please? Yes, this is a yeah. You can unmute, yeah. You should be, maybe there's a problem from your side, actually. I'm trying to do that, sir. I can only ask you to unmute yourself. So you should be able to do that. So maybe there's a technical issue with your side. So again, you can type your questions. I mean, it's not
It's
possible. Yeah.
She has dropped her question. She has dropped her question here, sir.
Okay. Can you read for us?
On the chat box.
Okay.
Let me try to read for us. He said, I wish to model a prediction for the sickle cell crisis
Okay.
in sickle cell patients.
Okay,
but for my life.
Yeah, thank you very much. But for my life science background, the parameters I need for proper predictions are not among the routing tests in the hospital in Nigeria. So I have issue with availability of data. I really wanted to leverage on available data as generating my own data will be very expensive. Well, thank you very much. So what a very nice area. We work in this area maybe last 2 years or so, a couple of my students, and they were able to get the work published as a proof of concept. Sickle cell is a very nice area of investigation affecting people a lot. What can we do about it? Early diagnosis and the likes. Some people don't show traces until very late in their life, depending on the strain of it. However, looking at your challenges, sometimes you don't need to have a preconceived idea. Say from your life science background, the parameter I need for proper prediction are not among the routing tests. You mean by parameter, you mean the attributes, the characteristics that you do check is different from the one they are checking in Nigeria. Yes. Try work with the one they are checking in Nigeria first. You see, the one you are used to before may not be the only thing that can do the work. This is one of the principles of letting the data speak. So work with the one that is available in Nigeria, get the data, model it, see if they can really predict sickle cell. Maybe they are predicting, maybe your life science experience may also be working, but there will be more than one way, more than two ways to a solution, to make a better solution. So my advice is get the one that is readily available now and try to use it. See how far you can go in the modeling. At least get it done. Then now see how you can then collect your own data from your life science experience. See, that may take time. You can get data online from the one that is related to your own idea of life science attributes. We call it attributes to avoid confusion. Hyperparameters, they are those parameters that affect the performance of our model, of our algorithm. But attributes, they are the inputs, and then part of it is the output, the final one, the target, yes or no, or whatever we want to model. So use the available data in the Nigeria context. Now, model it, see how far you can go. Then two, try to now get data for the attributes based on your life science. In fact, it's a huge work that you first do the model for Nigeria perspective. Now you collect data for that life science perspective. You now compare. Maybe it is time to sensitize the Nigerian populace that, hey, what you have been using before is not the ideal. This is the ideal one, because this is what machine learning is telling us. Maybe that can lead to change your policy in our hospital to the life science attribute that you are bringing on board. That's a very nice and wonderful contribution. It will be a very nice and wonderful contribution to the field of modeling in sickle cell crisis support system. So another one I would suggest is in the area of the area now we started model now, is to also see if you can have questionnaire-based data. That's another way. This is where to go. See, sometimes looking at the financial burden on people, they may not have the money to do so many tests. Why? Why don't we have questionnaire-based diagnostic system? We started working on like 4 diseases now, and it's really it's promising that you can diagnose someone with hypertension by not going to any medical center, diabetes without going to any medical center. Just ask him or a few questions. How many times do you sit down in a day? Do you feel like this when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel like this at night? How many times do you wake up at night to urinate? All those kind of simple questions that anybody can relate with. You'll be surprised you are able to diagnose people without spending. For those who have money, they don't have time, they will not have to leave their house to make the diagnosis. So this is another third idea I'm giving you, third option. One, use the available Nigeria standard data. 2, try to collect data. I know that will take time for your own life science idea. That's the second one. Try to collect the data or try to have data from all over the world, any part of the world, at least for a start. Later, you can collect your data here, the life science attribute. Then 2, 3, try to also go in line with what I call the questionnaire-based modeling. I believe this 3 option will give you is a lot of work and a lot of opportunities. So I wish you all the best. And I think Mr. Waliu now finally wrote his question. Sir, this is a topic for a dissertation on system safety and reliability. Master degree at Lokoja, okay, Federal University Lokoja. Reliability and safety evaluation of renewable energy integration in Nigeria, 352 Lokoja, your boss substation using probabilistic and AI techniques. Okay, yeah. So I believe this person has been in contact. Hopefully, we'll be able to have a talk maybe today. Hopefully, if you're available. So I like the ingenuity. Try to come up with things. So we were to talk a few days ago, but we couldn't make it. So hopefully, we'll be able to discuss that today after the class. Hopefully, in my engineering. So thank you very much. I believe that is all the questions we have. We've seen Mr. Waliu's issue with his unmuting. His recent hand was not contributing. Anyway, our time I think is up.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay.
Let me just quickly say,
okay.
Like it's also a sort of suggestion, because I've been able to see that you are so occupied and so your time is somewhat limited. Is there no way with the way